we're here to learn what it was like to prepare the solo that you did for the Fonteyn. And,
Yeah.
just chat a little bit more about how you generally prepare for solos. What made you choose the variation, and what sort of preparation did it take?
Yeah, so I think there were a few different stages of picking the variation. There was that initial sort of cull, like I had a good look at the list with my teachers, and immediately there's some that you just don't feel as drawn to, and ones that you think maybe you're less suited to. So there were a few of those that I just, said maybe another time. And then I think I was just really drawn to the variation I chose, Henriette variation in Raymonda Act 1. For many reasons. It was there was such a purity in the line and the elegance in that variation that I just found so intriguing, and the musicality of it, and a whole bunch of things. I'd seen a really gorgeous version of it done by Dorothy from Paris Opera Ballet, and to me that was just everything. And I just, I so enjoyed watching it, and I really wanted to tackle it. I love a good challenge. Those who know me know I never take the easy route. So that was another element. It's so deceptively hard, that variation. I mean, it starts with like releves in the quasi-arabesque, and that's not really a flattering line. So like to really like push to find, those really beautiful moments in it was very intriguing. It's a very understated variation, and it has such a maturity to it. So I think little me at 14 years old was like I just want to be able to do that and give that a go. And yeah, so that was sort of how I picked it, roundabout way. It's really easy to approach, I think, any variation, but for me, like when I approached this one, it was very much like, what do I need to do to like hit these lines and hit these balances and stuff. And then later I would think about like the artistic side, but when I sort of was able to mesh the two together, I sort of grew the variation as a whole. And I think when you're young, you sort of get caught up in all those things. But with this variation, it's no frills, it's no jumps, no leaps, no turns, etc. So finding like a really beautiful mesh of artistic and technical ability was like sort of really helpful in trying to like I said, grow it into, I guess, what it became.
So when you got to perform it on stage, you prepared it obviously with your teacher probably for a long time. You got it all down, but then you turn up in a different city and a different stage and a different studio. Tell me a little bit about the experience of transitioning from all that preparation to the actual competition itself.
Yeah, I think the beauty of the competition is like the work doesn't stop once you leave your home studio, like your hometown studio and the city that you're from. Like I worked on it with my teachers and my coaches. And then I was so lucky that when we get to the competition, you've got a fresh pair of eyes on you and you've got so much more to absorb. So that was really fun. And, I kept sort of like taking in things and seeing it from a new perspective of other coaches.
Looking back on that, has it helped you prepare for your professional career, or vice versa, the things you've learned from your professional career that you wish you'd been able to tell yourself back then?
A bit of both. I feel like when I was younger, I don't know if this goes for many people, but you just sort of have this like sense of fearlessness, and you don't think of the what ifs and the, all the other things that come with maybe being a professional dancer, maybe the added pressure or something. We sort of just went out there, and what we did was what we did, and it was about the journey. It wasn't about obviously just that one performance, because the competition lasted so many days, so we could sort of grow and learn and evolve the variations however we wanted to. So I think as I've gotten older, I think maybe you start to think of all those other things. So I think learning about how I tackled it when I was younger was very beneficial. Every now and then I have to think like, what would little Montana do? Like she would just sort of go out there and give it a crack. And, I'm so glad to have had those sort of opportunities as a young dancer, because I feel so comfortable on stage now, and I feel so comfortable performing for an audience. But maybe had I not done as much performing as I did when I was younger, then I wouldn't sort of be where I am now, which is, I love being on stage. Yeah. And I always have. But I think for someone approaching the competition, just to really just keep an open mind. It's so lovely that it extends over, so many days in comparison to just, rocking up and performing a solo and putting all this pressure on you to show yourself, you know, in this one go. So it's such an enjoyable experience, and like I have so many fond memories from the competition. So yeah, not to be too caught up in the idea of it being a competition, because that's just like a perk at the end. You know, if you get where, you know, you get to the semi-finals, the finals, that's great. But it was really those beginning days and the progress we made and that I could make with the teachers that's so important. So really just making the most of every class, every training session, you know. I think that's, yeah, that's sort of my advice.